Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Mr. Pramod Chaudhari, founder and executive chairman at Praj Industries, joining in. Welcome to the show, Dr. Chaudhary. It's a pleasure to have you on the show as well today. My first question coming to you is overall, the kind of negative impact that we've seen on the back of COVID-19. It's had an impact on different economies across the world. It's had an impact on different industries, across the world as well. And no one has been spared. If you could just help us understand, how have you seen this impact on an industry like yours?
Well, for our industry and for my operations, I think we are looking at it a little philosophically and little enthusiastically because it has given rise to use of alcohol or ethanol as a additive to the hand sanitizers. That is one part of it. Secondly, our projects are located in the interior part, which is not as affected like the main metros or urban cities. So that's where the productions of those things are also continued. And thirdly, of course, we could run the office designs and all that work from home basis. Well, that is one area where we could really do quickly. All the staff were having their own laptop and all that, so they could really manage very effectively. So by and large, I'll say that we were affected to the extent of about 20-25%. I think that's the way I'll put it.
Right. And overall, if you look at all of this in terms of a business and industry impact goes, how have operations been impacted? Because clearly, supply chain was something that was a major concern as well.
Yes, you are absolutely right. The supply chains did get disturbed and now they are getting restored. So maybe first 2-3 months, it was definitely quite a problem that supply chain, immigrant workers moving out and all that. But I think now it's slowly restored and I can say that since August, September, the things are definitely improving. And that's why I say that we are 80% level we have started operating at all the points. In fact, we got special permission to run our R&D center throughout because it was coming under a little bit of priority kind of work, and that also continued without much hassles.
Right. With all of this, if you could just help us understand now, we've understood the impact of COVID with regards to operations and industry. However, if you could tell us more about your and Praj's journey in the field of biotechnology.
Okay, that's a very good question. The word biotechnology, I'll use the word industrial biotechnology. See, biotechnology has got 5 arms. The pharma, healthcare, or life science is one part, agri is the second part, industrial biotech, which we are doing, is the third part, biotech services, and bioinformatics. So when you talk biotechnology, this covers all 5. But I'm making specifically very clear that we are part and parcel of industrial biotech, which is a very unique positioning of biotechnology for mass production of industrial products. And that's where our specialization comes. And so this technology or this arena we entered maybe right from the beginning. And they've got that kind of a status and recognition towards end of 1990, 1995, around that time. And this year, from the year 2000 onwards, it has become more and more important because this industrial biotechnology is helpful on number of parameters. First is the help to reduce carbon footprints for climate change point of view. Now that is very, very important and people are now realizing that how important role it is playing. So that is the first part. The second thing in case of bioenergy, it is resulting into saving of foreign exchange. You know, oil is imported. India depends for 85% on the oil imports. So that part is getting partly replaced with the help of biofuels. That's the second part. And the third and most important part is that it is being supplied, the raw material of this biotechnology, industrial biotechnology, is grown and supplied by rural community, agri community. And in turn now they are getting better remuneration. So it is helping for the rural upgradation or rural benefit, prosperity. So it is on these 3-4 parameters, if you see, the industrial biotechnology-based products where we are engaged are definitely having a much wider impact on the overall working. And going forward, I'm sure it will become more and more critical.
Right. So this is the journey of Praj in the field of biotechnology. If you could just help us understand your journey with Praj as well, and in this field, in terms of what is the story behind, getting Praj into existence.
Well, I passed out from IIT Bombay, and then always I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I became entrepreneur after working for some companies, maybe for 10, 12 years. And always, I belong to a rural background of Maharashtra. So I always believe that if India has to progress, we have to give a lot of attention to the rural side and create value-added technologies and value-added products for that benefit. And that's where I embark on a what is called as sugar byproduct from a sugar waste. And that gave us a good amount of success in the early stage. And then by the time it matured, it became very important as an alternate to fossil fuels. That became an inflection point, a turning point towards late 90s or beginning of 2000. Even India also, they tested the Swadeshi Indhan in 2003-4, and that became a very big success. And that's how, over a period of time, that policy has helped to increase the use of ethanol into mixing with petrol. And that has given us a very good chance. Meanwhile, what happened because of this being a biocide processing, we established R&D center. First a small one and the bigger one in 2002 and a much bigger one in 2008. So that is become a major contribution for developing various technologies, work on various feedstocks. So one side feedstock, second side is various technologies, and now multi-products, different kind of products. So if you see my biomobility program, we are into ethanol of first generation, second generation, then biodiesel, then we are into variety of things like aviation fuel, marine fuel. So all those things from bio route. And that is becoming a very exciting development. And the world is now adopting this technology or these end products because of the pressure on the climate change point of view. So this
Right.
has been the journey.
Right. And with this, if you see the consumption of fossil fuels, that has reduced. So with this, how is the demand for ethanol panning out during the year?
Very simple. The percentage is increasing day by day. See, earlier if you are consuming 100 liters and you are only taking 5%, and tomorrow if you go for 90 liters and if you take that 5% becomes 7%. So it's a relative this thing. So that's why the percentage blending is increasing, but the other part is the fossil fuel based fuels like uh, petrol or diesel. The consumption is not reduced to that extent. It is only during the COVID period to some extent because the movement was reduced. But if you see an overall graph, the percentage consumption at a 5% CAGR, it is growing. See, the because of the quality of life improving, middle class growing, like people using two-wheeler are using four-wheeler, like that the consumption is growing in fact. So that is going to continue at least for next 8 to 10 years. That's what is expected. All projections show that there will be a growth in the consumption of fossil fuel, fossil fuels basically, petrol, diesel, and now they are also going for a higher quality of petrol like BS6 and all those kind of things. Engines are, so I think the whole consumption pattern is, forget the COVID period, but otherwise beyond and after that, I don't see it will come down to that. Plus, as I say that the government of India has declared by 2022, they want to go for 10% blending all across. We are still at 5 to 6%. Okay. And then the other policy government is saying that by 2030, they want to go to 20% biofuels. So I think it's a massive growth prospects are there for the biofuels as such.
Right. And then with this, what's happened is due to COVID, the consumption of sanitizers has increased as well. Has that made a difference with regards to ethanol consumption and production, or is it still a very minuscule portion?
It is, I won't say minuscule, it is reasonable comparable. So
Mm.
whatever little offset was there because of the vehicular consumption versus this consumption, they perhaps got. But there's one more thing is coming also, a pharma grade ethanol. Apart from sanitizers, there's also the demand for pharma grade ethanol is also growing, especially in the Western countries. And that's where also we could supply some technology. We develop a technology which will adapt to the existing plant to get converted into pharma grade plants. So that's why I think the journey has been good for this kind of growth. But one of the most important growth is in India, where the sugar consumption has come down.
Correct.
I'm sure you are keeping track of that. Now that
Correct.
plus sugar, instead of exporting at a discounted or subsidized price, the government is encouraging that sugar to be converted into ethanol. And that's a very big move. So instead of just molasses, they get higher quality of molasses or sugar syrup. And these are getting a very major traction because government is giving them a better realization, higher price. And that is definitely helping for getting more and more capacity coming up. You get the point that sugar production
Correct. Correct.
surplus, that is definitely adding, and at least this phenomena will continue because sugarcane crop has become bumper crop and will continue for another 3-4 years without any disturbance.
Right. So overall, if you have to talk about biofuels, Dr. Chaudhary, what is the role it could play with regards to socio as well as economic development?
Wonderful. I just now explained to you that socially it is really helping upgradation or prosperity for the rural
Correct.
population. Farmer community is getting benefited. So that is a social. It is creating employment. Now,
Hmm.
in a new generation, second generation projects which you are doing, here agri residues to be collected, aggregation of that residue and to be transported to the ethanol plant. So that is created new employment opportunity. So there's a second aspect of social upgradation in terms of employment opportunity or small entrepreneurs are coming up. So that is on that side. On the economy side, I say that because of the farmer community getting higher remuneration for their produce, they are also getting benefited economically. So socio-economic and most important, which your people are not taking into account, is the environmental point of view, climate change point of view. The cost of climate change, we are not able to really evaluate those floodings and those kind of droughts and that kind of disturbance in the cycle, natural cycle.
Hmm.
I think what is the cost? That's a huge cost. The government has to keep rush for kind of measure. So that if you see that can be reduced if only with the help of this kind of measure. The
Right.
BS, this blending also one. Last point is with this blending, the particulate matter which is coming as a tailpipe emission is also cleaner emission. So that is also helping the urban dwellers because they have to breathe less CO and particulate matter. So that's how there is multiple. It's a very powerful concept to use more and more biofuel. And I think the government, not only in India, more than 60 countries all across the globe have made mandates for more and more usage of biofuels.
Right. So, Dr. Chaudhary, when you're talking about higher usage of biofuel, we have Praj as well as ARAI also who've signed an MOU to drive the usage of biofuels, especially in the transportation sector. If you could just help us understand how is this collaboration going to work and what is it that actually is going to be the main goal and motive behind this MOU?
Madam, ARA is an institute of repute, Automotive Research Institute,
Hmm.
and they are also involved with they are promoted by the auto industry and government of India. Now, they are responsible for the combustion in variety of engines. Now, combustion test for any fuels has to be passed by them. And that's where this is one part of it. The second part of it is that they develop or any innovation to be done. For example, they develop a binder to mix up ethanol with diesel. Now, today, India consumes 5 times more diesel, 5 times more quantity of diesel than petrol. Petrol ethanol mixes directly because of the density being same. But in case of diesel, you require a binder. So this binder they had developed. And if they certify that this binder can be used and ethanol can be used in a diesel vehicle, I think that's a very big thing. The second item which we have developed is the gaseous CNG, what we call bio CNG,
Hmm.
compressed biogas. So that can also go. Now they have developed a kit that the diesel engine can be fitted with this kit, so it can run on a gas. So one side it is a diesel, it
Hmm.
can have a dual fuel kit. So the buses and all that city buses which create a pollution because of diesel burning,
Hmm. Hmm.
they can run with the biogas, which is again a renewable gas. Like that, there are multiple experiments of the program which they are drawn, we are drawn, and we are working together will make it more and more attractive and foolproof. So that's a big benefit for the urban society.
Right. So, Dr. Chaudhary, when we talk about Praj's foray into the renewable chemical and materials business, how is the contribution expected to look like for the auto industry as a whole, along with what you just explained?
So there are two verticals. The one I explained to you is the biomobility vertical, which is to do with the transportation fuel. Transportation fuel for the surface, ground, air. We are also working that part I forgot to touch upon. That is the aviation fuel. Because in aviation, there is a big requirement of reduction of this thing, carbon footprints. And IATA has declared a big program of using aviation fuel in the form of bio. Then there's the marine. You know the marine wealth of different kind, fish and all that. They are really suffering because of the fossil emissions. So there also there's a big program being drawn. But that's a very important wealth. Marine wealth is a very important wealth. So they are still, this is a, we are yet to scratch that surface of aviation and marine. In aviation side, we already got a success. We got the collaboration and we developed some samples which are already approved by Air Force. So these are being tested here. So I hope in the near future we will be able to introduce biojet fuels. Okay, it's a biojet fuel. And biomarine fuels, we're just working on it and we hope to launch and test those samples. So these are the, so this is the biomobility side. So coming to the other program is Biofuel, we call it, which is meant for renewable chemicals and materials. So these RCM program, renewable chemical material, is to replace petrochemical based biopolymers. Mainly, if we talk simple thing is plastic. So plastic ban, single-use plastic ban has come. Okay, and that plastic has to be made out of the bio route. Secondly, biodegradable plastics that they can degrade by composting or by keeping in the certain environment. So that is the second big agenda is there. So all the components, say of a dashboard of a car, is a kind of a plastic polymer. So that can be made from a bio route. So huge potential. That's a very big market which is going to open, which is already existing in the conventional chemicals. In going forward, it will be replaced by biochemicals. So that's a very important agenda. And that's where, having achieved a success on biomobility, Praj decided to enter into the renewable chemical and material by bio route. And India, we are lucky because of a tropical climate, we have a lot of agri-based raw materials available. And Praj is there to provide the technology. So like that, we are taking one by one program to introduce these technologies. And I think both fronts will get a very major traction in near future now. We are confident. I'm personally very excited. And this recognition coming from Bio of USA, I think it is a kind of acknowledgement of getting that award, first of its kind, in India, is the highest award in industrial biotechnology. And I'm proud that it has come to us in India, and I'm proud that the country is going to get benefited because of the efforts we are being putting by Praj. And in near future, you'll see a different, you can say, scale and role of Praj in coming years. I'm quite happy about it.
We will talk about the award as well in some more time. But with this, if you have to talk about the kind of investments that are needed in the R&D initiatives that you're taking towards advanced biofuels, renewable chemicals, and materials, how is that space looking like?
So far, it is we are managing with the internal accruals. We are a debt-free company. We have a reasonable amount of cash on the books. And for the first 3 years of this renewable chemical program, we have taken some token sanction from the board, out of which one year is over. The second year is going on. Now there will be a little expenditure for putting pilot facilities and all that. We have appointed a couple of advisors from US and fees payment to them and all that, but still it's within the available limits and it will not exceed. That's what I definitely feel, because we are able to, we have learned to manage in the given resources. and without disturbing the cash on books. Even if you see today, the cash on the books, which is there for last 2 years, is more or less remains steady, even after introducing the concept of renewable chemicals and materials. And I don't see we'll require any external funding for this, not at this juncture.
Right.
A point will come, we have to go for a demonstration plants. Now we are, see, because of our own engineering arm, we are having all engineering in-house, we are able to think of a multi-purpose demo or pilot plant. That product, product, we can get all those things done in our same plant. And that is the beauty of the whole thing. So I hope that we are able to launch that. That will be perhaps 1 year down the line. And that should really demonstrate that if a customer comes from Japan and he wants to test something from bio, or somebody comes from Europe, same plant, we can have some adjustment to produce those trial products. This is the way I look at it.
Right. So that's something which is going to be good as well. So taking all of these, opportunities into consideration, what are the next 3 years expected to look like for Praj, and what is the growth plan that you would be looking at?
See, I will refrain from talking about numbers.
Yeah, sure. This is just a plan.
Yeah, but if you talk about growth in terms of today, we are supplying our technology and machinery to almost 75 countries. And as I say, almost 60 countries are already past the mandate to use biofuels. So their own percentages are increasing. Secondly, these new technologies will have tremendous traction. See, first three projects is coming up in India for Indian Oil, for HPCL and BPCL. All the three oil companies are putting up this new technology called second generation technology. Now, once those projects go on stream by middle of 21, 20 and 22, I'm sure people are going to really sit and take notice of that. They would like to come and visit that. Today, when we put up a small demo plant of 12-ton capacity in the field, there we got a tremendous response from European Union and other places. So I think going forward, this should have a very good reaction, response once we establish three projects. And coming to chemicals and materials, it is of course the gestation for development could be there up to 2-3 years. So just now, we will not get the benefit of chemicals and materials before 24. So there I'm distinctly. So when I talk about 3 years, I calculate 3 years from last year, but now if I calculate the 3 years from post-COVID, so we're talking about 22, 23, 24. 24 is going to be a very critical point from the point of view of the production of industrial. We expect industrial biotech to contribute $20 billion worth of revenue to the basket of biotechnology in India. If you say total basket is going to be about 125 to 130 billion dollars, industrial biotech will form about 20% of that.
Okay.
Yeah, which is quite big. And today, in terms of actual value, it will be about 30 billion, 25 to 30 billion. Today, it's about 6 to 8 billion. So we expect that to really have a quantum jump. And luckily, the present government is realizing the importance of this because of socio-economical and environmental benefits. So I feel the future is very bright. We acted ahead of time, but now is the time that we are going to reap the harvest on all the fronts.
Absolutely. And then with this as well, what according to you, Dr. Chaudhary, are the key measures and strategies that someone should be undertaking, especially if you have to talk about manufacturing companies in the wake of this lockdown and unlockdown phase?
The general manufacturing companies, the major this thing has been the supply chain part. Okay, but people are talking about variety of automation and efficiency and robotics and artificial intelligence. So that's already happening. It got extra push. So Industry 4.0 is reality. If you come to my area of industrial biotechnology, I'm going to give you a shocking information. Industrial biotechnology, or what you call a bioeconomy, is considered as an industry 5.0. Can you bet on that? It's being considered as a 5.0 Vision 2. Vision 1 is going into Industry 4.0 as a conventional manufacturing, going up to AI, artificial intelligence and robotics. And Industry 5.0 version 1, vision 1 is coexistence of robotics and human. That is one route. Now they are taking out the second branching to Industry 5.0 Vision 2, which is nothing but all renewables and bioeconomics. And this is a recent development which has been announced by scientists overseas, scientists and experts overseas. And I feel very happy and vindicated that what we are trying to do is already being recognized overseas, that this is a reflection of a industry 5.0 vision 2. So the way I look at it. So I think COVID has given a little bit of shock. As I use the word, I consider it as an inflection point, because people are realizing that dependence on certain things is not good or something to be learned. And I think luckily the area where we are operating is only in the same direction.
Correct.
That's the beauty of the whole thing.
Absolutely. So when are you expecting the industry to return back to normalcy?
Again, with the two parts, I think the general industry, I think they talk about 3 to 6 months. So let's say March. If not December, March is the time which people are saying that. So the FY22, if not CY, FY, and FY22 should become fairly normal. As far as we are concerned, maybe it can happen to us perhaps 3 months in advance. 1 quarter in advance, we should start aiming for normalcy. That's the way I look at it.
Right. And Dr. Chaudhary, do you think that the government needs to come out and do anything to support this sector?
You're talking about the industrial biotech sector?
Yes.
I think government is definitely on it. They realize I used to be the chairman of the bioenergy committee of CII almost for 10 years. And I think we have done a lot of work along with the government, the Niti Aayog, and MOPNG. MOPNG is now the nodal agency, and they understand the importance of all those things. So as far as the transportation fuel or biomobility is concerned, practically most of the things are in place, except they have to come with a framework for aviation fuels and marine fuel. These are two new things. But I'm sure that in the next 2 to 3 years, that will also be in place. Similarly, something renewable chemicals and material, how it has to be blended with the current associations or framework for the plastics and polymers. They're all petroleum routes. Now here we are talking about bio routes. So how they will be able to coexist has to be seen, because this will start replacing the conventional petrochemicals with the bio-based chemicals. So they will need some certain specifications, certain framework, regulatory framework will be important. So many things are there. Last few things where I need government support or government should look into it, there is the Biodiversity Act. Now, Biodiversity Act influences the use of bio-based products. So our submission to them is that the known bio-based products and agri residue should be exempted from that. You have to use anything for any purpose, you have to go to the government and take their registration, permission, and the hefty fees are there. Whereas they should encourage more and more use, but that's our treasure. But the agri residue, which is a use, this thing remaining of the agriculture product, can be given as a special concession. The last thing is genetically modified microbes. India is very strong, they don't allow GM.
Correct.
Yeah, which is in US and all that is very common. See, the way we look at it, that going forward with the population of those things, I think GM has to be somewhere lifted, maybe step by step. But GM will definitely accelerate the production of agri-based, bio-based inputs to give a push for the bio-based economy. And this is very, very important. I hope my interview is heard by some concerned government official. It will become a very interesting development to take it forward. The Biodiversity Act and Genetically Modification GM Act. These are the two things.
Absolutely. I think a lot of steps, as you mentioned, that need to be taken by the government as well. And with all of this, Dr. Chaudhary, I would really want to congratulate you as well. Firstly, because as we know, Biotechnology Innovation Organization has announced Dr. Chaudhary, who's the founder and executive chairman at Praj Industries, for the prestigious 2020 George Washington Carver Award for Innovation in Industrial
Yeah.
Biotechnology and Agriculture. In fact, I would want to note that, Dr. Chaudhary is the first Indian and second Asian recipient of this global honor. And overall, if you go to see, this is a befitting acknowledgement to Dr. Chaudhary's exemplary leadership and contribution towards building a bio-based economy. So congratulations, Dr. Chaudhary, on the same as well.
Thank you.
And if you could just highlight a few things and your journey with regards to this award, and how do you feel about it?
Thank you, Bio Impact, and Iowa Bio for this great honor of being chosen for the George Washington Carver Award. My gratitude goes out to all my peers and colleagues in the industry who were part of the selection process.
Oh, I feel very, very honored because this is a very prestigious award. And if you see the list of the previous award winners, I mean, they are the CEOs of the DuPont and those kind of companies. And it coming to a mid-sized company from India, it is not only, it's an innovation and pioneering work in the field of industrial biotech and bioeconomy. So I think it is a very good befitting recognition of India's kind of a growing prowess, what we call it, how India is growing or looking into this area. It is recognition of India's policy and the Indians, how they are able to contribute to this area. The areas where the people have been using in Europe and USA, I think we are also catching up. See, in like many areas, we are trailing behind by 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But in this technology area, we are also in the forefront. I want to make a point that this is that we means not only Praj alone, India is in the forefront among other countries to take this forward. And we can surpass in terms of the usage of bio-based products to achieve a better control, mitigation of climate change, and really contribute to the global phenomena of mitigating climate change issues. So I think that will going to be a very big challenge in front of us. We can do it, and we are very much there at the spot that we can achieve this. I feel I am able to contribute a little bit from Praj's side and my side.
Absolutely, and it's a great pride for the country as well to get this award for the first time. And just to give a little bit details, if you talk about the annual Carver Award, it serves as a lasting memorial to the original vision of George Washington Carver, who over a century ago pioneered bio-based products, materials, and energy actually derived from renewable agriculture feedstock. This is what I had picked up about it. So this is something which is really enlightening, something really to be proud of as a nation as well, because it's come to us for the first time only on the shoulders of Dr. Chaudhary. Thank you so much, Dr. Chaudhary, as well for sharing all of this with us. Great insights that we've picked up on the show from you. Great details with regards to the sector as a whole. And congratulations once again, and happy to have you on board on this discussion.
I'm happy to note that you have read the books on Carver. That's a good thing. Very nice.
Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed the conversation, and we should hope to see you soon back again. And stay safe.
Bye.
Thank you.